So I've made a couple of videos similar to this one today. I've made an under 23 one, I believe, and a champion video. But today we're going to be trying to build a Premier League lineup for around £100 on Sorare. So leave a like if you enjoy the video, subscribe if you're new to the channel. If you're completely new to Sorare, there's a link in the description which will get you free market credits once you've purchased your first 5 cards on the auction site. And so I've been doing a bit of research, and for £106 roughly, this is the type of team you could get going on Sorare for this upcoming season. Now, I will preface this and say I'm filming this at the beginning of July. Within July at some point, we're going to get new season cards for every league. And so yeah, those, the prices of those in-season cards are going to be considerably more than the classic versions, which is what we're going to be building right now. In every competition on Sorare, barring under 23s next season, there's going to be a classic version of a lineup and an in-season lineup. The in-season lineup, you can win cash, only cash, and then for the classic lineup, you can win reward boxes. In those, there's essence, there's mystery jerseys, and of course, you can win, cards as well. You can win in-season cards playing classic. So, the cycle is you buy classic cards to win in-season cards to win cash. Is kind of the sort of life cycle of how Sorare is working going forward. And so, I want to say that, if this team costs £106 right now, who knows what it's going to cost in a month's time? Nobody knows, one, what the ratio is between, a classic James Maddison and an in-season James Maddison as far as price goes. Is it going to be 2x, 3x? Is it going to be 50%? Who knows, right? No one knows yet because those in-season cards aren't out. But I would take an educated guess in that the in-season cards are definitely going to be more expensive than the classic cards. That is just a fact. So I don't know if this lineup would drop in price 50%, 10% in a month. Who knows? It might increase. I don't know. Nobody knows. So I just want to sort of let you guys know that because nobody knows at this point. Anyway, in goal, we're going to go with Vicario, who is 50% of the lineup as far as price goes. His recent average is £40. His floor price right now is £47. People are interested in buying Premier League cards right now. The prices of them are increasing from their recent averages, hence the floor price. And so he would cost you around 45 quid probably right now if you were to go give an offer to somebody. And somebody that I really, really rate. As a goalkeeper, I think he's great. I've watched him play live actually last season against Chelsea in that game, which was mental. I think it was 4-3 or something. It was at Spurs' ground. And he is an exceptional goalkeeper for me. He's unlucky that Donnarumma is Italian, because I think Vicario, definitely would have had a shot at being, the Italian number one. Maybe he still does in the future. Who knows? But I doubt it, but he is still an exceptional Premier League keeper. And I do expect Spurs to get better next season. I really, really do. And like I said, he is very expensive. Most goalkeepers in these lineup build videos are going to be the most expensive piece of the video. That's just the nature of goalkeepers, because there is just a fixed supply of how many of them exist compared to outfielders. So Vicario is our goalkeeper. Now, of course, if you watch my videos, you'll know that I do like a defensive stack. And we're going to be going with Pedro Porro as the defender. Somebody that can score very, very highly on this game. Somebody that has scored hundreds in the past. I think he's got, 100 from last season, 91, 82, 82, 79, 92 against Sheffield last game of the season, 86. Somebody as a defender that can score really, really high scores. I'm not saying that's rare, but it's rare for a defender to take set pieces, to take corners, etc. For their club. I know Trent does it a lot, and so does Robertson for Liverpool. But outside of that, there's not a ton else that can kind of do that. But he's somebody that, if he doesn't get a decisive, if he doesn't get an assist or a goal, he's still pulling in 30 AAs, if Spurs get the clean sheet. Here, 100, obviously 40 AA against Man United. No clean sheet there. And he's somebody that I rate. I think he's a good right back. He's been in the Premier League now for a few years. Somebody that is established, and somebody that does get a lot of decisive actions, which are very important in Sorare, as is all-around score, don't get me wrong. But for a tenner, I think, and the whole cohesion with Vicario, he has to be in this lineup for me. It's as simple as that. But I am somebody that does like stacks on Sorare in general. I'm not somebody that loves a 5-man stack of the same team, because a lot of players or a lot of users will have that same stack. And the only thing differentiating you is, one, your captain choice, and two, the collection bonus that you're going to have on that lineup. So I don't really, I haven't picked 5 Spurs players, basically, is what I'm getting at. I have picked 4, I will admit, but I have brought in a different player from another side that kind of differentiates that a little bit. But anyway, James Maddison, right? I know he was, obviously not in the England squad and stuff. He had a tough end to the season last year, but he's got quality, right? There's no way you can doubt that. L40 of 61. Like, the Premier League is going to be really, really competitive when it comes to midfielders. Rodri, Kevin De Bruyne, if he stays, Bruno Fernandes. Like, there's a lot of good midfielders that can score really highly on this game next season. And yeah, Maddison is definitely in the conversation for me. He's somebody that can hit dark green scores for fun, as long as Tottenham are scoring goals, which is what they just do under Ange Postecoglou. And so he's somebody that, was unlucky with his injury. But lads, this was his scores before the injury. Like, these are exceptional scores. Like, insanely good. They're not Rodri. They're probably half a level or a level below Rodri's. I know Rodri did it for the whole season. I'm not comparing him to Rodri, but he's definitely in the conversation of being, a top 5 Premier League midfielder next season on this game. And for 20 quid, he has to be in there for me. Now, I have taken a few risks up front as far as we don't have the budget really to be spending on really, really good forwards, because we've already spent technically £80. Like I said, this video is going to be around £100 as far as the lineup goes. I mean, recent average, okay, 72, but right now to buy this lineup would cost you 80 quid. So yeah, we don't have a ton of money left to spend on the forward and extra player. But as a bit of an outsider, as far as price goes, as far as, he's not Son, of course, which a lot of Spurs stacks will have next season. Just because, yeah, he is great. I'm not disputing that. But Brennan Johnson, now there is a bit of Welsh bias coming through here with this. And, I'm a massive Brennan Johnson fan. I know he wasn't incredible last year, if we're talking like Sorare scores. I think he had like 10 decisives over the year. If you have a look there, we could do this by, so all teams, let's go Tottenham. Let's go, over the year. How many decisives is that? That's 10 assists and 5 goals, which that isn't bad at all. I think it went under the radar a little bit. Now, I think that went under the radar a little bit. Now, look, his AA game, his all-around score on Sorare most of the time isn't exceptional. Like, that is what differentiates Son. Like, that's what puts Son in, a better category. Why he's more expensive is because most of the time he does have better AA. But we have seen glimpses of, 20 AAs from Brennan Johnson. 20 AA, 15 AA. He did do it in glimpses. Now, I'm not saying he's going to average 20 AA every game next season. Son won't even do that. But like, the AA is like semi there. Like, his floor a lot of the time is like 10 AA, which you're going to take as a forward. Like, for a 10, how much is he? 10 quid? Less than that. £7.68 right now. Like, I don't think it's terrible. And like I said, there is a bit of Welsh bias in there. But, the link with Son, the link with Pedro Porro on the right side, Brennan will probably play on the right side more often than not. As far as that 4-3-3 goes for Spurs. I think there's multiple decisives in this lineup most games for these players. If Spurs are winning games of football, if they're scoring lots of goals. And yeah, he's not Son. I get that. He is the cheaper alternative, in this Spurs lineup. And, that at some stage, will come back to bite you. If Son have scored 100 that game week and Brennan hasn't, chances are your lineup isn't going to score that well. But that is just part of buying cheaper players a lot of the time, or alternative players. I think he's a good option. I think he pairs well with Maddison and Porro. But for the extra player, like I said, I did differentiate here a little bit. I didn't want to go all Spurs, but I wanted to bring in a player that I think's amazing, and that is João Pedro. £15 floor. So the current floor price of this whole lineup is £104. I know you can't see it, but it's behind my face cam right now. But you can see the recent average price, which is £94. I think João Pedro's exceptional. Like, you watch him play, the kid's ridiculous. Like, so athletic, has goals in him, takes penalties as well. He's under 23 as well till 2026, which is mental. I do think he has another move in him at some point. Like, I do think he'll move to a better Premier League side at some point. But he is somebody that can score in the dark greens. And for around 10 quid, I think it's pretty interesting. He does have a really good AA floor for a forward. Now, I'm playing him in the extra position where it doesn't really matter that he's a forward, because I could play a midfielder here if I wanted. I could play a defender. I'm choosing to play double forward for this example. And if he gets a decisive in these games, he's at 80 points. Like, simple as. If his floor is 20 AA quite a lot of the time, 26 AA here, 16, 13, 15, 19, 19. The guy has AA in him for a forward. Similar to Brennan, but I would say a little bit better. And that's why he's priced a little bit higher than Brennan, I think. And for me, for 100 quid, which is what this lineup would set you back, I think it's interesting. I think on game weeks where Spurs smash and João Pedro scores a penalty, for example, this lineup wins a reward more often than not. I know not having Son instead of Brennan will definitely let you down in some areas, but Son is more expensive. Like, Son is what? Son is probably 50 quid, I'm going to guess. Let's have a look. Yeah, 44 quid right now. So, buying Son makes this lineup 150 quid. It's just 50% more expensive if you buy Son. If you have the budget for it, go for it. But this is more of a budget video if we're talking Premier League stuff. And yeah, that's why I went for João Pedro and Johnson. And I think there's a lot of cohesion in the lineup, in the team, because of the Tottenham connection, and then you've got that differential of João Pedro, differentiating yourself from those Spurs stacks that will have a lot of collection bonus. But if you are interested in playing Champion Classic next year, I think this is an interesting lineup. And I'm not saying you have to go out and copy this lineup exactly, but I think it is good food for thought. And yeah, for 100 quid right now, it looks interesting. Prices are bubbling up a little bit as far as classic prices go. I am interested to see what happens once the in-season cards come out. Do these cards drop dramatically? Who knows? Like, nobody knows at this point. But I'm just giving you the facts, and the facts are this lineup is £100 right now, roughly. And yeah, who knows what happens to it in the future. But I do think it has a shot at winning prizes next year if you are interested in playing the Premier League side of things on Sorare. Of course, this lineup would fit into the Premier League because they're all Premier League players. But you could play it in Champion as well, which is the dual utility side of things of Champion cards. That's why they're more expensive. They're more well-known, obviously, as well, as far as top 5 leagues, and most people playing this game are going to know Premier League cards. So I think it's interesting. Let me know what you think in the comment section. There is obviously other alternatives, and I'm not saying this is the best lineup you could buy for £100, but I do think it's up there. But yeah, let me know what you think in the comment section, lads. If you enjoyed the video, leave it a like, subscribe if you're new to the channel, and I shall see you guys in the next video.